The MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas was a glittering beacon in the desert, promising luxury and escape. Guests, women, families, employees entered expecting complete security, dazzled by marble floors and chandeliers. But beneath the glamour, hidden dangers lurked, shortcuts in safety, invisible risks, and a lack of real emergency planning. Most guests never imagined a fire could happen, trusting in building codes and management to keep them safe. Yet, the hotel lacked sprinklers in key areas, and stairwells could become deadly chimneys for smoke. Female employees, often untrained for emergencies, worked under the illusion of safety. The MGM Grand was a gamble in more ways than one, with stakes higher than anyone realized. On the eve of disaster, the hotel buzzed with life. Mothers, housekeepers, and guests all believing they were protected. This collective trust was the most tragic illusion, built on a safety net that had quietly disappeared. The promise of a glamorous escape was about to shatter, revealing the greatest risk is often the one we never see. The fire began quietly in the early hours of November 21, 1980, sparked by an electrical fault in the deli. It smoldered unseen, feeding on flammable materials, until it exploded into a fireball that swept through the casino. With no sprinklers to slow it, the inferno spread in minutes. Guests in the tower above first noticed the smell of smoke, not flames. Power failed, plunging upper floors into darkness and panic. Mothers grabbed children, but the hotel's communication system failed. No alarms, no instructions, just confusion. Toxic smoke, deadlier than the fire, raced up elevator shafts and stairwells, turning the hotel into a vertical gas chamber. Women opening doors found only blackness. Many sealed themselves in, desperately trying to keep smoke out. The challenge was not just escape, but protecting children and the vulnerable. Female staff, untrained for disaster, found themselves on the front lines, helping guests while fighting their own fear. The hotel's design and lack of preparation left everyone isolated and unprepared. Survival became a matter of split-second decisions in a world turned upside down. The MGM Grand Fire was no accident. It was the result of deliberate cost-cutting and systemic failures. Management declined to install sprinklers in the casino, saving money but creating a deadly risk. The hotel's lavish decor was made of flammable plastics, releasing toxic smoke when burned. Most victims died from smoke inhalation, not flames, poisoned by the very luxury that drew them in. Hidden shafts and seismic joints funneled smoke to upper floors, turning the building's design against its occupants. Guests, believing themselves safe far above the fire, found poison seeping in from vents and walls. Fire inspections focused on surface-level compliance, missing deeper, systemic flaws. There was no scrutiny of materials, no requirement for smoke control, and no penalty for missing sprinklers. The regulatory system allowed profound risks to go unchecked, gambling with thousands of lives. Safety was sacrificed for aesthetics and profit, with tragic consequences. The MGM Grand's impressive architecture became a deadly maze during the fire. The hotel's two-part design, casino below, tower above, meant a single fire could trap thousands. Stairwells, the main escape route, were not smoke-proof. As fire raged, smoke filled these passages. For families, especially mothers with children, descending in darkness and smoke was nearly impossible. Some stairwell doors were locked, and rooftop exits were inaccessible, compounding the danger. Long identical corridors disoriented guests, making escape even harder. Survivors crawled on hands and knees, searching for exits obscured by thick haze. The hotel's grand scale, once its appeal, now made every escape route feel impossibly far. Emergency systems were minimal, alarms didn't reach every room, and smoke purging systems were absent. In crisis, the building's design flaws turned it into a trap, not a sanctuary. The true story of the MGM Grand Fire is told through the women who survived it. A young mother on the 19th floor sealed her door with towels, then faced the agonizing choice to stay or flee as smoke thickened. Her husband left to find help, leaving her to protect their infant alone, huddled by a window for hours. A hotel maid, untrained for disaster, knocked on doors to wake guests and save lives, risking her own safety. Another woman, trapped with her elderly mother, realized escape was impossible. They broke a window for air and waited, surviving by staying low to the ground. These stories reveal the unique challenges faced by caregivers and employees, making impossible choices for others as well as themselves. Women tied bedsheets for a desperate escape, brides barricaded in bathrooms, and staff guided guests through chaos. They were not passive victims, but active survivors, relying on courage and ingenuity. Their actions saved lives and exposed the failures of the systems meant to protect them. Behind every statistic was a real person, forever changed by the disaster. The women's stories are a powerful reminder of resilience in the face of institutional failure. Their courage stands as a testament to the human spirit, and their voices demand that we never forget the cost of negligence. The MGM Grand Fire was a disaster waiting to happen, enabled by a failed regulatory system. Fire inspections focused on surface issues, extinguishers, exit signs, while ignoring deeper structural dangers. Outdated codes didn't require sprinklers in the casino, and economic pressures discouraged strict enforcement. Employees, especially women in service roles, received little to no fire safety training. When disaster struck, they were as unprepared as the guests, unable to guide others to safety. The inspection process was reactive, not proactive, missing the unique risks of the hotel's design. No one asked the critical what-if questions that could have saved lives. Systemic negligence created the perfect conditions for tragedy. The MGM Grand Fire shocked the nation and forced a revolution in fire safety. Outdated codes and lax enforcement were exposed as deadly flaws. The tragedy led to sweeping reforms. Mandatory sprinklers in all new and existing high-rises, including casinos. Sprinklers became the first line of defense, credited with saving countless lives since. New codes required advanced alarms, visual strobes, and pressurized stairwells to keep smoke out. Smoke purging systems and illuminated exit signs became standard. Locked stairwell doors were banned, and emergency lighting was mandated. Survivors' stories, especially from women, shaped these changes, highlighting the need for better communication and evacuation plans. The legacy of the fire is written into every modern building code. Change was born from tragedy, ensuring future safety. The MGM Grand Fire's legacy is more than new codes. It's a human story of loss, resilience, and responsibility. Survivors, especially women, reshaped our understanding of safety and trust. Their stories remind us that every safety rule is written in response to real suffering. The fire taught us that toxic smoke is often deadlier than flames, and that modern buildings can hide complex dangers. Women's experiences highlighted the need for evacuation plans that consider families, the elderly, and the disabled. Testimony from female employees spurred calls for better emergency training for all staff. By centering their voices, we ensure lessons learned are compassionate and complete. The MGM Grand Fire is now a case study in disaster prevention, taught worldwide. Its most important lesson is moral human life must always come first. The women's stories are the conscience of the industry, demanding we never forget why safety matters. The MGM Grand Fire was a tragedy born of complacency and the belief that safety was someone else's job. The real lesson is that safety is a shared responsibility, a promise we make to each other in every public space. This requires vigilance from lawmakers, inspectors, and every guest. Women, often primary caregivers, can lead by asking questions and demanding transparency. Collective pressure creates a market for safety, pushing owners to prioritize well-being. We must support those who protect us: well-funded fire departments, empowered inspectors, and trained workers. Comprehensive safety training for all staff, especially in service roles, is essential. Protecting the most vulnerable workers strengthens safety for everyone. Safety is fragile, maintained only through effort and vigilance. The courage of survivors and the memory of those lost call us to remain alert. We owe it to them to ensure every building is a true sanctuary, never repeating the mistakes of the past.